As we go to our prayer, first off, those of you who remember Don Jensen, I just saw him just a little bit ago. Laura had given me a Paul Harris pen and I was trying to figure out how to get it to him. He called me out of the blue because he wants to send another granddaughter to Camp Riley. And so, which I said was fine. And then I spoke for Shane, but found out where he lived. And
we're a team, Bill.
We're a team. That's we're a team. Yeah. Shane and Bill, Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
You be Batman. Anyway, I saw him. I went to his apartment and gave it to him. He looks good. He's lost weight, but he looks good. I did not hear his wife, Rosalie, so I suspect she was asleep. And, you know, she's in pretty big dementia issues. The other thing is, we all know that Mara Gass' husband, Marty, passed away almost 2 weeks ago now. Mara is a very private person, but she did put on Facebook yesterday his obituary, and that services, there will be a funeral mass at St. Anne Catholic Church that's in Coppell on Sandy, just off Sandy Lake Road, on Friday, the 29th of August at 10 o'clock. Okay, and if you get on Sandy Lake, you'll see St. Anne because it's a huge parish. So, and we wish her well. Quite a remarkable bio that obit she put out. So with that, would you join me in a spirit of prayer? Eternal God, we give you thanks for the blessings of this day. We give you thanks that we finally reached that point in August where the average temperature is going down, and we've only had 2 or 3 days of 100-degree weather this year. Oh my Lord. You know, global warming has upset the weather all over the world, except in Texas, it improved it. And so we are thankful for that. We give you thanks for this club and its work as we prepare for our next great flag event on Labor Day, which is just a couple of weeks away. We give you thanks for this food. Ask that your spirit be upon us to bless this food, take it to nourishment of our body. Bless this club and its work and keep us in your peace. In the name of Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Bill. Lance, will you did you please?
Fellow Rotarians and visiting guests, please place the flag and join me on the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Donna is going to come up and introduce our guests today.
You may be seated.
Oh, yes, thank you.
It's a pastor thing.
Good afternoon. Would like to welcome Dana Rhodes, a guest Kathy, and Brian Martinez, Lazaro's nephew.
Woo! Yeah.
Thank you. And Laz, did you want to add anything to that?
Well,
We're Brian's.
yeah, so I'll bring him up here. So Brian missed the meeting we had 2-3 weeks ago where the students who received the scholarship from the Rotary Club came and talked to us about what they're doing. So Brian's going to college on Tuesday, and so he was one of the recipients as well for the Irving Las Colinas scholarship this year. So I figure I'll bring him here. Rick sent them a 15-minute PDF for a speech, so you sent it, right?
Right. Go for it.
So, but I'm here to tell us what you're doing in college and what are your plans and anything else I think the club might want to know, and then maybe you guys might have some questions for him too.
Hi, so I'm Brian Martinez, his nephew, like he said, and I'll be attending Shrine University in the fall, where I leave Tuesday, the 19th, I think. Yeah. So my plan in college is to major in political science and wrestle. I'm on the wrestling team. I actually got signed to go wrestle for them as an athlete, so I was blessed to do that. And I'll go political science, and hopefully I can go into law school after that and try to become a lawyer.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'll go to Shriner for 4 years. So it'll be my first year coming up. So I honestly don't know what to expect. It's my first time away from home. My mom got nervous. I started packing yesterday. So yeah, I don't even know what to take, but I'll figure it out. And I have a great uncle to support me. I know I have y'all supporting me too. As for the last 4 years, actually, The Rotary Club has been a big part of my life, my education. Y'all helped send me to RILA at the end of my junior year. That's actually what helped. It made me decide that I want to be a lawyer. Seeing the people there, seeing the things that people are doing, I realized that I too can become like them too. I believe in myself. I could become a lawyer too. So it pushed me and motivated me. And I'm working hard and hopefully I can become a lawyer and get that degree.
All right.
Brian, I have a question for you. Are you planning to join Rugrats when you get to Shriner?
Yes, actually, I didn't, me and Joshua talked about that, and he said that he'll help me join Rotary and help me join a few other organizations that he wasn't even down there. He also went there, graduated in 09. So yeah, we talked about that, talked about this, club starting up, learning my public speaking skills and improve on those too.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Quick question.
Yes.
Could you just tell us the scholarships that you were awarded?
I got awarded the Rotary Scholarship, and I got awarded, the other scholarship was because I played youth football down at the River Bottoms. So they awarded me a scholarship for that, because I came up in South Irving.
No Irving Marathon?
No Irving Marathon.
No favoritism.
I've been there since I was 6 years old. I really don't think I've done.
Oh, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's
Congratulations.
okay, I get paychecks for Irving Marathon.
Yes.
Come back and help us with the marathon.
I do have to. Yeah.
It's gonna come and help other wrestling guys. I gotta be good at moving stuff.
Very good.
Thank you. As you can tell, back by popular, demand is the bucket being passed around. I forgot to mention it at the social last week, so this will be our last week collecting for the flood victims. So far, we have collected $219 for them, so, today's bucket will be the final one, and then I'll send it to the Rotary Club of Kirkville. If the board doesn't mind, I need y'all to stay for like 5 minutes after the program today. We just need to vote on something real quick. And other than that, Patty is not here. Okay, never mind. Patty was gonna talk about, she's ordering some shirts. Wants to order some shirts for Rotary, so if you're interested in having a shirt, it's so that we all match when we do community service events and things like that. Everyone will pay for their own shirt, but we will get the order together, hopefully at the next meeting. Laz, thank you for working the Rotary table at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce event. It was a nice event. We had, oh gosh, how many charities were there? About
20 or so, 50, 20.
yeah, so quite a bit of charities there. Everybody talks about how to help each other and just Laz was talking to a lot of people about joining Rotary. So it's just another good way to raise awareness of our program and what we do. So thank you for doing that. And then I attended the Rotarian networking event on Tuesday in Dallas. And that was awesome. So if any of you are looking for networking events, there were probably 50 people there. Everybody was networking, handing out cards. It was a really good opportunity, very well done. The food was really good. So anyway, if you get a chance to go to the next one, please go to it. Oh, there's Patty. So late. Did you want to say anything about the shirts?
Let me just say a couple of things. The Community Services Committee, of course, we want to be more involved in community organizations. For my next song, I'll be.
Yes, it's here.
So it's been a while since we had new shirts. And forget it. So Kathy and I are looking at possibilities for Rotary shirts with
Like this one?
our name.
Yeah.
Just like that.
It's been suggested by a couple of people that instead of the regular cotton t-shirts that we have maybe polo shirts. What do we have there that you're holding up, Dawn?
Rotary polo shirt.
Oh, it's a different color of blue.
Oh, look to your left. Look to your left.
Another one.
Y'all.
Yeah, yeah.
Fabulous.
We got all three.
All you had to ask, we modified it.
What, you got one too?
Wow.
There's the purple, blue, light blue. There's a green.
Wow.
Taste the rainbow.
What is going on?
Ladies.
For my last song this afternoon, it will be, okay, great.
I'll take one, man. Where did he get this shirt? Maybe I'll have a shirt.
We'll work on that. Okay, the only other thing I have, we do have the Toyota of Irving event coming up. It's not until October 22nd, but I am gonna be asking for people to work that tape. So, if you are willing to do that, please let me know.
Just on that note, I would say at least 3 people we need for that night, so this, I've worked it before and it's a lot of people, so you have at least 3 volunteers for that October event.
Perfect.
It's better. 22nd.
22nd.
October 22nd, yes. I think it's from 4:30 to,
So
yeah, like 4:30 to 6:30 or
I
something.
left at 11 before.
At Toyota of Irving.
It goes late. You can do it.
Okay. Now we are going to move on to our speaker. Today we have Chris Smith. He is the Senior Financial Advisor with Wells Fargo Advisors. And he is here today to talk to us about current affairs and how they impact our investments. So Chris, come on up.
Well, yeah.
Hello, guys. How are y'all today?
Good, and you?
Doing good, doing good.
You'll need to hold that in your hand and hold it up to your mouth,
Okay, I'll put it in there, guys. So,
up to your mouth.
more than anything, wanted to be here with you guys today. We've seen quite a bit of volatility, both good and bad this year, and so I wanted to just give a brief market update on kind of the markets right now and maybe our expectations going towards the end of the year. And then I also put a couple of ideas for you guys. I got a packet for everybody, and we'll kind of go through that, but just a couple of ways maybe to increase the productivity of your portfolio, add some diversification, some different things like that. So first and foremost, I'm sure most of you that have 401ks, IRAs, investments, look at them quite often. As you know, right now, markets are pretty much at all-time highs. Today's down a little bit. But what I would say is that the S&P 500 is sitting about 6,400 right now. Wells Fargo, even 7 or 8 months ago, was very bullish on the economy and especially the market. And we've had our end of year expectations at 7,000 on the S&P 500. So that's still about an 8 to 10% run up by the end of this year. So what I would say to that is the last thing that we needed to happen are rate cuts. And so we should have either a 25 basis point or even a 50 basis point rate cut here in September. There's like a 94 to 96% chance that will happen. So nonetheless, know that August and September are historically down in the markets. So I wouldn't expect a lot of great news, but as we move towards the end of the year, with Christmas and New Year's and the travel season, there's a lot of money to be made in the fourth quarter. And historically, the markets do their best in November and December, right? So I wanted to say that because I hope you guys have a positive outlook with the new tax bill passed, the quote, big, beautiful bill. Basically, what it does is money managers and investors alike out there, they want clarity in the decisions that they're going to make. And until we had that tax bill passed, they didn't know what the rules of the game were, right? And so at the end of the day, I laughed a lot about it, but in my business, money managers don't care if it's a Republican or Democrat, right? We just want to know who's going to be elected, and different companies are going to do well under different administrations, right? And so that just gives us the ability to start applying capital and having conviction in what we do. Any questions before I go to any of the stuff? Any market update questions? concerns on investments, IRAs, 401ks, or just the market in general? Okay. So, what I would like you to do is if you'll look at the first sheet that I put on there, for you guys. I'll fill this out. All right, so this is a pretty telling statistic. So if you look at the chart of the week, and it talks about the incredible shrinking universe of public companies. So the idea that I wanted to bring to you today is a lot of folks don't know they have access to the private markets, whether that's private real estate, private lending, or even private equity, right? You have ownership in companies that are not public, right? So what's really neat about this particular this slide here is if you take a look around 1996 to 98, we had the most amount of public companies we've ever had, a little over 8,000. By the end of like 2023, public companies were down to 4,500. So what companies are finding out is that, one, to be a public company and to go through the federal scrutiny of the SEC and a number of different things, the regulations are tremendous. The cost of going through that is very, very high. And when you become a public company, a lot of times you're voted based on shareholder votes and things of that nature. Whereas when you're a public or a private company, you have the ability for the managers of those companies to always do just what's right for the company and make great decisions. So we've seen over the last 20 years, almost a halving in the amount of public to private companies out there. So not only do private companies outpace the public markets 4 to 6% per year on average through a market cycle, they're less volatile, right? So generally to be in the private markets, you do need to be an accredited investor, right? And so at the end of the day, the folks that you are investing within these private companies and these private investments and things of that nature have a longer term time horizon and have outside funds that they're not directly pulling from this. So when we see news on the television, we see everybody run to their 401k, whether they're a Lockheed Martin employee or the Raytheon or the Wells Fargo, and they're selling their S&P 500 and putting into cash or whatever that looks like. We don't have nearly as much turnover in the private markets. So not only do you add performance to your portfolio, you add stability to your portfolio as well as diversification, right? If y'all do me a favor on the next slide there. So this is pretty unique, and I'm sure a lot of you heard of the company Blackstone. So again, these are just ideas for you guys as you look at growing and protecting your portfolio going forward. Blackstone has a private credit fund, and basically what this fund does is it provides lending to companies that do $1 to $4 billion in revenue, right? So these are all private companies that do substantial amounts of revenue. If you look middle of the page, you can see the Class S share is currently paying 9.6%. If you look right below that, you'll see the highlighted portion. It says net of fees, and drop down your 1 year net of fees. Distribution is 8.5%. Your 3 year average per year, 8.8%. So again, this is a pure lending play. It's like lending the bank your money in the form of a CD. You're lending these companies in the form of this fund right here. So as we look at money markets around 4% right now, this is paying double. So $1 million that you have in this, your net return is about $85,000 a year. So depending on what the client's goal, maybe it's capital preservation, maybe it's an income need, maybe it's a growth story, but earning 8.5% on your funds to let somebody borrow is pretty spectacular. What I'll say about this and why we have high conviction in it, one, it's managed by Blackstone, phenomenal company. But if you look on the page 2, you'll look at and see the asset allocation pie chart. About 91% of the companies in this portfolio, which there are currently 636. This fund and our shareholders are 91% first secure senior lien holders. What that means is that if the company was to have a bankruptcy or a fire sale, our clients are getting paid first before any of the other shareholders, right? So it's just another layer of protection on these accounts that we have. So one, it's phenomenal. Blackstone does all of the due diligence. They vet every one of these companies before they invite them to be a part of this, to give them loan capabilities. Currently, right now, there's almost $71 billion in this fund. But at the end of the day, a lot of investors just don't know they have access to the private markets, right? So there's a couple different ways to make money in this world. You either own something, Coca-Cola stock, or rental property, and you, any of the profits, you take advantage of that, or you lend somebody your money and they pay you a percentage. This is a pure lending play from this perspective, okay? So just something to think about. Private markets are going to provide a high level of alpha to the portfolio, which is very important to a lot of our clients. So I'll have you go to the next one. And again, these are just ideas for you guys. Real estate has been very, very tough the last 2 or 3 years. And the reason that is for a couple of different reasons. One, the value of properties that folks own went up tremendously. In addition to that, we have very high interest rates. So when we have high interest rates, it's really hard to make a spread when we purchase a property, whether it's a rental house, apartment complex, whatever that might be. So this right here is a private real estate fund. And now as we kind of get into September of this year, rates dropping, real estate's going to be coming back in favor, right? And so this is a great opportunity for a lot of our clients to, one, diversify out of the public markets into the real estate or lending, whatever it might be. This is a pretty neat fund because not only does it give you a broad approach to real estate, it's actively managed, which is very important, but it breaks it up over industrial, healthcare, multifamily, grocery anchored retail. We see tons of businesses do very well next to a Kroger or an Albertsons or something like that. Also, single family housing is taking up about 7% of this portfolio, and that really seems to be a pretty growing trend. So if you look on page 4 of this portfolio, it talks about the real estate boom that happened in 2018 and 2020, the pandemic acceleration, and then us moving straight from the pandemic into that real estate bear market. So if you guys know, right between those times is when we went from a 0% rate environment to the Federal Reserve hiking rates to 5.5%. Now, obviously, the reason they did that is because inflation spiked to about 9.1%, right? So now as we have the rates pulling back down, the 2024 plus and beyond, and that's kind of dragged out a little bit because I think the current administration would have wanted rates cut maybe a little sooner, but nonetheless, we're going to get what we get from the Fed. So now that we have that here in September, this is really where the real estate recovery begins. And just like anything, you want to get into something before it really takes off and rates start dropping, because when rates drop, 2 things happen. The value of real estate goes up and the value of the stock market goes up, right? Real estate goes up because people have the ability to spend more when rates are lower. And obviously, when rates go down, John Deere can sell more tractors, General Motors can sell more Silverados, and it just really spurs the economy. Now, people do ask a lot, so if the Federal Reserve cuts rates, does that directly impact mortgage rates? It doesn't directly impact mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are tied directly to the 10-year treasury. But over the history of time, for every 1 percentage point that the Federal Reserve drops rates, mortgage rates drop 87 basis points, right? So they drop about 90% of what the Fed Reserve does. So with that being said, the current Federal Reserve, Mr. Jerome Powell, is in power until May of this next year. So we're forecasting probably a 50 basis point rate cut here in September, a 25 in October. And then next year, when we have a new Fed Reserve, we think it will be even more aggressive, right? So I heard it could be by the end of next year, we could go from the current 4.5% that we're in to 1.5%, right? Now, they do need to manage that because they don't need inflation going back up through the roof. So they need to do it in a smart manner and balance that. But nonetheless, markets should do very well towards the end of the year. Private equity, private lending, private real estate is a very neat tool to add to your portfolio. If you're 100% in the public markets, this is a really neat way to get more out of your portfolio. Also diversify and literally have less volatility within your portfolio on a day-to-day basis. Questions, concerns, thoughts? Is anybody managing their own assets, or do most everybody have some type of professional management?
Professional management.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both, okay?
Professional.
Okay, Laura?
Professional.
Professional, all right, it's true. So what I would advise, and obviously I'm from Wells Fargo and we help a tremendous amount of families here in the area. This is my 19th year as an advisor. Come October, I'll be rolling into my 19th year. So if it's questions or concerns, maybe it's not something that you're thinking about right now, but that you have down the road, I put my information on there, and we're here to help. If it's something we can help manage for you, we'd love to do it. But if it's just, hey, Chris, I had a question on my advisor was recommending this. What do you think? Is that smart way? You can always use this as a resource as well. The private bank at Wells Fargo manages about 2.4 trillion in assets. We're in 35 countries around the world. We're one of the few firms that have what we call an open architecture. So we don't just sell Wells Fargo investments. We work with JP Morgan's private bank. We work with BlackRock. We work with Naveen. We work with Vanguard, right? So we work with a lot of great partners, but our goal is to find out what our client's goal is and find the best money manager to achieve that goal. Right. So please let me know if there's questions or concerns. But do have high conviction that by the end of this year, your portfolios should look pretty great. It's really about having the conversation with your advisor or an outside advisor on, am I positioned well to take advantage of the next 2 or 3 years? What companies are going to do well, and do I own those, right? So if I can help in any way, don't hesitate to call, text, or email. And I'll be here until the end of the hour. So if there's any questions that you just want to ask one-on-one, let me know.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
People are gonna move into this big building that you've been.
So we should have quite a bit. I was talking to some folks, but I think eventually it'll house probably around 1,500. So a lot of it's gonna be business banking teams, right? So we have a lot of business bankers that will work in amongst the branches. They'll actually have a central location that they'll be able to work out of there in Las Colinas. We'll have a lot of the private bank there as well. So you'll have financial advisors. The value of a lot of times working with Wells Fargo and our private bank is that we do in-house trust and estate planning for our clients. We do traditional 401k and IRA management. We have access to the public markets, which not every firm does. And so we do have a wonderful competitive edge on the banking and investment side. So if there's any questions on that, let us know, because we have a pretty diverse team on how to help out. But we're excited. So I was letting them know as well. We have a very similar building being built over in Clearfork, Fort Worth, over by the TCU area. So if you know that area, our entire Fort Worth team is going to be moving from downtown Fort Worth to the new facility over there. So yeah, very good stuff. Any other questions, guys, at all? Young man, I would start investing early. So as soon as you can,
Yes.
you can open up traditional IRA, Roth IRA is very powerful. But as soon as you start having earned income, start putting a couple dollars away. It'll grow great for you.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Yes.
I think you can agree that that's
Okay, don't forget, board, I need you for 5 minutes. We can go ahead and do that now while everybody else stays and visits for a little bit. Rick, you have something?
Yeah, just
Sir.
announced, Bill mentioned, the last, next Friday, it's gonna be Labor Day. The lithium fountain has 72. Grand Treviso has 28. So it takes 4 people, but 6 people make that 100 flags, easier text. If you want experience, putting out the flags, I know everybody here doesn't. You want to do that other part, contact me. We'll start on Wednesday before Labor Day. We'll pick them up 2 or 3 days after Labor Day and roll them up, put them in the shed. But it's a lot of work, but you learn, Terry, how, but anyway, if you want to volunteer, see me. I need a couple of volunteers because I think I lost one of the key guys. So put that on the calendar. Thank you.
Any other announcements? No? All right, then Terry, will you please lead us in the 4-way test?
Please join me in the 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do as Rotarians. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
and fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you.
I believe. Well, I want you guys some information.
Chris.
Yes, sir. Sunday, the church.
I'm the president, she just went out to the shift.
Being on.
But it's just down there.
Right, that's it.
Oh, no, it's say, I see that.
I'm the.
I'm not taekwondo. I know. No, you did. No, I don't, I didn't like that. But I'd like to actually.
Yes, it's still like, yes.
I think that's it for me. I'm definitely, it's a matter.
Yes.
Brian over it. Ooh.
It's one thing, you know, like. These,
That's right. No, I
don't know.
Yeah, he's like double me, but I like a
The
champ.
doctors, I wait till 90.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like 190.